In this episode of Teach Me Something, Gabe Cole attempts to teach our real estate expert, Long Zone, how to create your own listing inventory. Gabe is a graduate of USC's Marshall School of Business with an emphasis on real estate, finance, and development. He is a licensed broker and experienced investor, founder, and team leader of Realm Residential, and an all-around great guy. Gabe specializes in luxury real estate, and he wants to teach you how to break into the market by creating your own listing inventory. Will Long learn something new from Gabe? We will find out on this episode of Welcome to Teach Me Something, where our experts have 2 minutes to teach something new. I'm your host, Jesse Zagorski. Meet Long Dome. Long knows a lot about everything, but specifically real estate and leadership. Long has sold thousands of houses, but there's one thing you should know about him. Every day, he is committed to learning something new. And if he doesn't learn something new, he has to read a book for at least 20 minutes. Long loves to learn, but he hates reading books. Well, that's not totally true, but you get the idea. And Long has a short attention span because his brain is always thinking, which is why our contestants only have 2 minutes. Let's see if Long can learn something new on Teach Me Something. I have actually known Gabe since high school. Long. Gabe has been one of my...
No way.
We weren't close, but we've literally known it, but we were friends. And then he's been in real estate families. I've been in real estate families for most of my life. So I'm so excited he's here.
That's awesome. Long, you should have seen Jesse in high school. He had long curly hair down to his shoulders.
Got the hockey hair?
Oh yeah.
It was the rock star hair.
Yeah, it was awesome. All right. And we got our studio audience today. So Matthew Hanks, I'm going to mute you out, Matthew, just so you're on mute. We got our studio audience. Our next guest, Matthew, is going to be listening in, so putting added pressure on Gabe. I like this. All right, cool. So Gabe, are you ready to rock?
I'm ready.
All right. I'm going to set the timer here for 2 minutes, and you got 2 minutes to teach Long something new.
Okay, let's do it. So Long, I'm going to teach you how to create your own inventory. I've been an investor myself, and I've worked with a lot of investors and developers. One of the things that I love doing to create new business is to create my own listing inventory, especially in a tight inventory market like we're in now. So in order to do that, you got to kind of know the lingo, especially if you haven't worked with investors before. So a lot of times people will refer to ARV, which is an acronym for after repair value. That's one of the very important things an investor will look at. That's basically what you can sell the home for when it's fully rehabbed and fixed up and you put it back on the market. Then I'm going to go into another acronym, which is called MPP, which is maximum purchase price. Maximum purchase price is going to allow you to determine what an investor can pay for that property and still figure out what their profit margin will be. Now, every investor is a little bit different, so you have to go to your investors and find out what type of profit margin they're willing to get on the property. So if it's a 6-month hold and they want to do a 10% return in 6 months, that's a 20% annualized return. So real quick, I'll break it down for you. MPP, maximum purchase price. You're going to take your ARV. Let's say you can sell the home for $500,000 once it's fixed up. You're going to subtract your fixed costs. So your fixed costs are going to be anything from your closing costs, commissions, holding costs, loan payments, property taxes. Then you're going to subtract out your rehab costs. And then you're going to subtract out your estimated or profit that you're looking for. So I'll give you a quick example. Let's say it's a $500,000 property. You're figuring your fixed cost to be at $40,000. To that, I'm doing about 8% of the purchase price. Then you got to figure your rehab costs, and this can fluctuate depending on the size of the property. $60K for rehab costs, and let's say you want to make 50 grand profit on that. You're looking at a maximum purchase price of $350. Now you know what you can pay for the property, what you can sell it for. Go out and find some investors and find some deals for them. Create your own inventory.
At the wire of 2 minutes. Wow. So this is really interesting, Long. We've had 2 guests now talking about Ken Krotz. Remember, he did the go or no go. This was a different take on the same thing. And before we see if you learned something, what questions do you have?
Yeah. So for the 40,000, the 8% you built in, is that pretty typical? Because the acquisition cost may also closing costs. Maybe they might borrow money for a little bit of interest during the holding time.
Correct. And you got to figure out if they're going to be taking on like a hard money loan that might have higher interest rates to it, because that number then may go higher. 8% was a number if you factor in 6% commissions minus 1% closing costs, maybe 1% closing costs on the buy side. That's a quick factor for maybe a cash purchase. But if they're using hard money financing, you're going to probably have to add to that.
Okay.
Interesting.
If they want a 10% profit margin, that's how you come up to 50,000 because of 500,000.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And that's a 6-month hold. A lot of times investors will look for a 20% annualized return. And they may have to take thinner deals when the market's competitive like it is right now. But if you figure it's a quick flip and you can get in and out in 3 months, you can even take a tighter deal and maybe even go, 6 or 7% if you can be out in 3 months, because if you annualize that, then that gets closer to 20% annualized.
So do you have like a buy box then you create, Gabe, that with formula, they just plug in the number themselves and it'll just spit out for them right off the bat?
Exactly. Yeah. I have a spreadsheet that I work off of, but it's really good when you're just eyeballing properties to not have to plug everything into a spreadsheet. So this is a quick way that I'll do that.
Okay. And by the way, from our audience, if Matthew has things he wants to jump in, he's here. I'm like, hey, if you want to jump in on this, what I love, Long, and tell me if you've seen this before. A lot of agents are not numbers people. And in 2 minutes, Gabe just spit out a lot of numbers where some people watching this might be like, what? Go back. But you can rewind and listen to that 3 times. It's only 2 minutes long. And I guarantee within 3 listens, you'll have it down. It's not that complicated. That was a pretty amazing breakdown. Have you heard someone break it down that way before, Long?
Yeah, no, that's really, I love it. I literally imagine how I would monetize it, right, Jesse? That's me, right? If you don't have one Gabe ready, I might come up with an app. That's like a pretty simple app to do, right? They just really plug in and there you go.
Yeah. I do have an app you can use, by the way. It's called Rehab Valuator.
There you go.
You can take a look at that, and you can just quickly plug in some numbers in there. And there's a number of apps like that on the market that you don't have to reinvent the wheel, but there's some good resources out there for you.
Love it. So so does it matter which market you look at for this? Is it market specific? You have the only market?
Yeah, this formula can work in any market, and it really comes down to what the investor profit margin that they're willing to take. And also, every market's going to be a little different for what the rehab costs are going to be. We're here in California, it's probably going to be much higher rehab costs here with labor costs and materials than it might be in the Midwest or something. So it's good that you talk to some contractors to find out, what a general rehab cost will be. If it's like a quick, lipstick, cosmetic rehab here, we tend to calculate about $40 to $45 per square foot. But then if you get into the bigger ticket things like roofs and windows and siding and major systems, it goes up from there. So what I do is I speak to a number of different contractors, and I'm in this very frequently. So I get a pretty good idea of what our rehab costs are going to be.
Okay. Last question I have is, since you probably do a lot of these without investors, you have an investor like from California who said, it's pretty competitive here. What other market that I can get into? And then you reach out to an agent like myself in the Midwest, Minnesota, to help out?
I haven't done that yet to an extent. I've looked into some different markets before, but it's a great idea. So if you've got some good products over there, then we can definitely bring investors to you. And then we could figure out some sort of fund or, LLC structure or something. But that's definitely something we could do, because there's a lot of California money, as you know, going elsewhere to find deals.
I love it. I got to ask, Long, did you learn something today?
Absolutely. I just do a quick math. I think I might have a couple properties in my market I might want to get into.
Awesome. Let's do it.
You know what I learned, by the way? Is I know this show is not about teaching me something, but I love acronyms. I know you do too, Long. I have heard ARV, used it 1,000 times. I have never heard MPP. Have you ever heard MPP before?
No, not me.
Okay. I learned a new acronym, maximum purchase price. Correct, Gabe?
Yep, that's it.
And when we edit this together, I want to put it on the screen like Sesame Street. Maximum purchase price. Okay. Yeah. Maximum purchase price. I love it. All right, guys. Yeah. Gabe, thank you for being here. Matthew, thank you for being an attractive studio audience. Appreciate you having someone here for the first time. First time we ever had an audience. And Long, this is it. We're good.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, Gabe.
Appreciate it.
Produced by the Agent Collective Media Network.